Good morning. Today's discussion is on deer populations. I'm a landscaper professionally, and that's been one of my greatest challenges in the recent years is the ever-growing deer population and what it does to your landscape, to your garden, to your woods. Um, yes, it's true. The deer damage goes far beyond what happens in your yard. In fact, deer damage, according to the U.S. Forest Service, has compromised as much as a third of our total forest lands. And wherever I believe deer populations are high, the forests cannot rejuvenate themselves the way they used to in the old days. A tree grows a seed, drops a seed on the ground, a plant is produced, and the plant regrows. Thus, a plant reproduces itself, but the deer are browsers. And what does that mean? That means um, the deer aren't so interested usually in the grass in your yard. The deer will come and eat your bushes, especially new growth, new leaves, flowers, flower buds on bushes, on perennials. It's what a deer likes. So a browser is basically an animal like a goat that prefers woody, soft wood, or uh, or tender vegetation, which is what a new plant is. So when a tree drops a seed in the forest to grow a baby tree to replace itself someday, the problem is if you have enough deer, there are no baby trees left. There are no baby bushes left. Everything gets eaten to the ground and eventually dies because it cannot take, the plant cannot tolerate that kind of perpetual eating. So, what to do with a deer problem? And how did the deer problem start? According to various sources on the internet, the deer problem started with human activity, basically. This all comes down to humans, and there are two main reasons why the deer have overpopulated due to human intervention in our environment. One is the endless cutting of our coniferous forests, um, cutting down huge old growth trees creates an entirely new environment. So if you've ever been in an old growth forest, and believe me, it's a lot different than most woods that you might have around your house. An old growth forest, the trees are enormous. Not only are they enormous, but they shade out most things that grow on the ground. The, the vegetation is very sparse in a true old growth forest. There really isn't a whole heck of a lot. When there's true old growth forests, which is what America used to be mostly, there were very few deer. But now you cut down all the woods, you have all these small bushes, new growing trees. That is deer delicious. And the deer population just went skyrocketing high because you have all this new browse. The second one is that humans have pretty much exterminated very effectively all deer predators. Now, in this country, it wasn't that long ago that the entire country was inhabited by mountain lions, packs of wolves, bear, brown bear, black bear. And the brown bear are truly authentic predators. We've eliminated everything. So it's one thing to um, lament about your landscape and how the deer have just massively wiped out all the thousands of dollars you put into it, or you look at farm fields, there are huge herds of deer grazing in the farm fields. It is basically the humans removing all the predators from the environment that also has escalated the deer population. And it's interesting when you think about it. Never before, except for perhaps the last 100, 150 years at the most. Never before have deer lived amongst humans. This is a new phenomenon. In fact, if you go online, you'll find deer density maps where the deer densities, the deer populations are quite often higher in more heavily populated areas where humans live than in the less populated areas. And that's because we import all these lovely bushes and trees from all around the world to truly give the deer an interesting, authentic culinary experience where they can get a large variety in their diet, because we have imported plants from China and Japan and Russia and Latin America, all over Europe. We've truly got a smorgasbord for any hungry deer. And they're safe. There are leash laws for dogs, and there's hunting seasons for humans, and there are no predators. The safest place, oddly enough, for a deer, the heaviest populations can be our towns, villages, and even cities, where the deer populations have grown so high. And because there are no predators, that the overpopulation, not only does it affect forest regrowth, but even outskirts of towns, especially when you look in the woods, you can see the deer damage everywhere. Bushes, perennials, wild bushes, wild trees, eaten to the ground, only to die and thus not rejuvenate themselves. And it's the plants that the deer prefer, which are the ones that are going to be the less prevalent in time. And so what we're actually doing is we're completely altering our landscape because of the way we've handled the deer population. Certain plants and trees are going to become quite sparse, and quite possibly the other animals that require those bushes, trees, perennials for their survival may not thrive in the way they used to. So the possible consequences of something as simple as an overpopulation of deer can have vast and profound effects on our life as humans. Thank you. Special thanks to Pixabay for their deer videos. Thank you.